Yes, it's fine. Hi, Fanny. How are you? I hope you can hear me and you can see me very well. Just let me know whether you can hear me and whether you can. Ah, wonderful, wonderful. How are you today? How is your Tuesday? Hi, Joanne. How are you? Please, as you step in, remember to like the live and share it as well. I'm good, thanks. I'm very, very good. I think we're just going to wait for 2 minutes and, just let other people join the live. But in the meantime, you can tell me, how was your day? What have you been up to? Thank you, Vani. Thank you so much. I finally finished doing my hair. So I'm happy about that. Oh, okay. Please don't text and drive. Please do not text and drive. I did update my YouTube, Joanne, but I'm yet to use it. Isn't the new feature is the horizontal one, not the vertical one? Hi, Anthony. How are you? How are you? I'm yet to listen to your voice note as well, Joanne, so that I understand what all this was about. That's the one I'm using. I'm sure that's the one I'm using. That's the one I selected, the vertical one. I'm sure that's the one I'm using right now. Oh, it doesn't show. Okay. Okay. I'll probably use that next time. I'll probably use that next time. But anyway, welcome to my channel if you're new. Yeah. My name is Tuli from Tuli the Mompreneur. I'm a YouTuber based in Harare in Zimbabwe. And I do content on motherhood, lifestyle, and basically everything in between. So that is what I do on this channel. If you like that type of content, please do well to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. I really, really love all of you. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about parenting. Yeah, I felt as if this was a topic that was dear to my heart. And, we don't all have all the answers. We don't all have the answers when it comes to that. And we do have... if you are not a parent yet, you were once a child, so your opinion counts, you guys. Your opinion counts on this topic, and it's very important to understand the world we're living in and how to parent our kids so that they become responsible adults. I'm not saying I know everything. I don't know everything. I'm also on a journey of learning to parent. So today we're just going to help each other, give each other tips on how we can make this journey easier. I hope everyone is ready. Everyone who is tuned in is ready. And we can continue. So if you all are ready, just give me a thumbs up emoji in the on the comments. Hi, Fortune. How are you? Welcome in, welcome in. Please make sure to like the live and share it as well if you can on your platforms. Yeah, parenting. In the meantime, you guys can give me your experiences with parenting if you have been a parent, or how it was growing up. Do you think your parents were fair to you in how you wanted to do your things, or they were unfair to you? How do you personally feel about how you grew up or the parent you have become today? For me personally, it's just one of those. I feel like I'm slowly becoming my mother. Her parenting style is basically how I am parenting, but it's not working. The truth is, the old school parenting type of way is just not working out, you guys. It's the kids we have these days are just not like how we grew up. So let me know what parenting style do you use? Is it working for you? Maybe it can help us out somewhere there. So my first question for you is, how exactly do we raise responsible children? Your thoughts, your ideas, how do we raise responsible children who can become the leaders of tomorrow, who can, be able to run things, basically, who can be able to run homes, who can be able to run the country, who can be able to do things in a responsible manner. And I really thank all my mothers. They all contributed to what I am today. What exactly, my question is then, what exactly did they do for you to be who you are today, for you to be that responsible person, for you to be that responsible mother? Hey, Carol, how are you doing? Hey, Taylor T. Welcome in, welcome in. Please make sure to like the live as you're coming in. And today we're talking about parenting. And I know a lot of us have a lot of views when it comes to parenting. So my question was, how exactly do we raise responsible children when it comes to this parenting game? Because I don't want to lie, it's a struggle out here. It's a struggle. I'm just mixing the styles, to be honest. I'm more of not instilling fear in my children to the extent that they're scared to approach me when something is wrong. I feel like I've become their parent. All we knew growing up was fear, you guys. All we knew, when our parents said, hey, you'd be like, oh my gosh. And I slowly became that parent, and I am that parent actually, but I'm trying to now shift my gears into being the softer parent, the understanding parent, the wanting to, listen to your kids. We never grew up with that. We never grew up with the opportunity to sit down, with our parents, have certain discussions about our lives, and but it made us better people in a way. Okay, guys. So Anthony came up with a good answer where he says, my number one way of training kids is to train them in Nigeria or in Africa. So, what is your opinion on raising children locally? That is where you're born and bred, if you're African or whatever nationality you are. How is it raising your children in Africa compared to raising them overseas? That is, if you're in this scenario, if you are someone who, has lived all your life overseas, then give me your experiences on how it has been raising your kids. Because I know in the African way, definitely your children are going to fear you. Definitely, if you do something that goes sideways, you are going to get the beating of your life. Exactly. And like I was saying, we never got the opportunity to be open to our parents. Anytime you wanted to do anything, we do it on the down low. Sometimes you wouldn't tell the truth about what you're doing. And it wasn't such a good way of growing up. But at the same time, I feel like it made us respect our parents more. So, yeah. Let's talk about it. You guys. Okay, so Joanne says, I think we should also instill fear in them or respect. I feel like there's a difference between respect and fear. So we definitely want our children to respect us, but I feel like if they fear us too much, they're scared to talk to us about certain things. And there's so many things that happen with our kids. There's so many things that happen that they don't talk to us about if they fear us. Carol says, my style is the same as Taylor's, but I discipline and I'm strict all the way. I also spank when I have to. Use cane when needed. Okay. Make them your friend. Someone says, I play a lot with my kids, but once they misbehave, they must collect. I think we need to make our children understand that as much as we can be sort of like their friends, we also need to have that, that demarcation, that line where they should not cross, and realize that you're also their parent at the end of the day. So how do we let them give us that respect that we so much deserve? Because now it's about how do we make them give us that respect, because they're living in a world where they are taught that respect is. And we grew up in a world where we knew that you respect your elders, irregardless of whether it's going to be your neighbor, irregardless if it's someone you're going to see on the street, irregardless if it's someone you're going to catch the bus with. You need to respect your elders. But kids today are like, if I am going to respect, I might just respect just a little bit. If they can't respect their families, the immediate family, are they going to respect people out there? I see when I take my daughter to the bus in the morning, you guys, there are kids, it's school going time. So there are kids who you find walking on the streets, going to school and all that. And there are those who pass you and say, good morning. And I'm like, this child, you know? And then there are those other children who you pass them, it's as if they are going to, just bump you and just go. That's how do we create those type of children who everybody wants to be able to live with? They never gave up on me, though sometimes I could do unthinkable things. Okay, for those of you who don't speak Shona, she then says that sit me down and I would get a lecture. Hitting a child is not the only solution. They made me feel free to talk about everything to them. Hi, Julie. Hi, Julie. We're talking about parenting. So get into the conversation. How do we how do we raise responsible children? Taylor T says, honestly, since I'm in America, you have to be more intentional with parenting. Your child fearing you doesn't mean you'll be a good parent. Some parents have trauma that needs therapy. So right, Taylor. When I slowly look at how we grew up, I realize that a lot of us have traumas that we suffer from that we are trying to get out of. Me personally, as I, get more in tune with YouTube, being more exposed to what goes on in other countries through the internet, I am now slowly becoming an intentional parent. Like I said, I'm learning. It's not something I am good at. It's not something, but I am trying to be that parent who will be able to raise their children properly. Do I occasionally use the cane? Yes, I do occasionally use the cane. Do I occasionally get pissed off and don't know what to do and just cry myself? Yes, I also get to that point. And I realize that a lot of it is because of how I was raised. So the frustration then becomes just too much. And you're like, how do I get through to this child? And then I realized that when you do sit down and you talk, have a conversation, with your child. My daughter is 10 years. I want to reach that point where I do not have to use a cane in order for her to understand me. I want to be able to talk with her. So now I intentionally try and talk to her. There are times she doesn't listen. I try and talk to her again. You don't listen for the third time, girl, I'm going to whoop you. That's as simple as that. So I'm slowly trying to be that intentional parent. Hi, Oyanike. Growing up like that. Yes. We grew up fearing our parents. Honestly, there are times I knew that, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble today. That's fine, Oyenike. Yes, definitely. Joanne says even some kids beat you up. I think parenting has different stages, so the styles changes as they grow. So let's not mix them. Most definitely. So yesterday on one of these platforms, there was a conversation that we were slowly having, and it got me thinking, they're bad kids and they're good kids. They're those who grow up having, being privileged, basically. And there are those who grow up poor. Most people say kids who grow up from a poor background, turn out better than those that grew up in rich homes or in, basically medium class homes. What is your opinion on that? There is a topic that I want to go into that is why I'm asking this question. So what is your opinion? Kids who grow up privileged compared to those who are not privileged. So people claim that the ones that are not privileged grow up better than those that are privileged. So please give me your opinion on what you think about that so that we can get into the next question, which is very, very important. So I think which is very important when it comes to this parenting thing. Okay. So also about saying good morning to adult strangers on the way to school is also an environment thing, which is true, We do stranger danger. People are crazy over here. I think the world over, people have just become, crazy to a certain extent. It is not safe. It is not safe. I, for one, the reason I take my child to the bus is that I am so scared that anything can happen to her. The streets are quiet. She can just be taken. She can just be kidnapped. So I fear those things. That is why I go with her, wait for her to catch her bus, and then come back home. These are fears that we have as parents. I feel like day in, day out, these are fears that we have when our children leave the home. Are they going to come back? This is the world we're living in. This is the reality of the world that we're living in. So I also do teach my children that, you know what? Let me know certain things that are going on with you. We've got the no-touch system. If someone touches these special parts of yours, you need to tell me, you need to let me know. Whether it's a woman, whether it's a man, you need to tell me what's going on with you. And it's something that I constantly tell my girls, and so that they don't forget it, So definitely stranger danger is like one of those, cause it's a crazy world out there. People are doing so many different things. Ultimately, raising respectful, responsible, and obedient children is what the society needs. Definitely. I can't relate to the topic, but while growing up, my mom has cane for everyone. If you do anyhow, you see anyhow. My dad never caned us, though. Okay, that's Vanessa. Yes, your opinion also counts because you were once a child. Let us know how you grew up, how it contributed to you also being the responsible person that you are. You are also going to raise children. How would you want to raise your children compared to how you were raised? I don't think class has anything to do with how a child behaves. If you come from a less fortunate background, you might confuse a child is spoiled when they have everything that they need. Definitely. I feel like that's a valid point. Why I was asking that is because like so many parents are blamed these days for their kids' mishaps. I feel like no parent is going to say to their child, you know what, go and steal, go and do drugs. No parent is going to their child and saying, go and steal, go and do drugs, go and do illegal stuff that will get you into prison. I don't think there are parents who are raising their children in that manner. But we then have children who are doing these things, children who are stealing, children who are doing drugs, children who are misbehaving, children who are, doing all sorts of things. And these things are blamed to the parents. When people look at that child, they just say, they just conclude that, you know what, this child wasn't raised properly. This child wasn't raised in a proper home. So why are we blaming the parents when sometimes it's not the parents' fault? They're trying. I feel like some parents are trying so much to raise those responsible children, but our children are just not getting it. Okay, so Joanne says, I think that comment is true to some extent because most rich folks are not available to correct the children. I'm in Zimbabwe, you guys, and I feel like we've got a saying to it in my local dialect where we say, my frame of thought just lost me. But when you are raising a child, you know, parents these days are becoming more westernized, basically, and they don't have time with their children. They do not have time with their children to spend time, talk to their children, find out how their day was. All these things are being done probably by the maid, being done by extended family if you live with extended family. And I feel like if other people are going to do it for you, they're not going to do it as best as you would do it as the parent of this child. But at the same time, these parents are also, let's put aside the ones who are, you know, just having a good time, enjoying, having the time of their lives, while they still have kids. But there are those who are trying to work hard so that these children don't lack. You get what I mean? There are those who have to go to work for 12 hours, 15 hours in a day, because they are working for those same children, you know, and you're trying to provide for them, you're trying to give them a good life. At the same time, you can't be there all the time. So, yeah, the exception is those parents, but there are those who are just, you know, going, having the time of their life. You wouldn't even know these people have kids if you see them enjoying themselves because they are enjoyment ministers. And when you hear they have kids, they don't have the time for their kids. They get home odd hours, you know. It's all about them and not about the children. And they don't have the time to, you know, listen to their kids, find out what's going on with their children. Yeah, there are a lot of people who are privileged who do that. But some are just trying to, you know, look for money to take care of those particular kids. So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, you guys. It's a whirlwind of stuff. Parenting is just something else. I think you learn as you go. As the kids grow, you are constantly learning something. Growing up as a child was fun because there was a balance. We have my dad who is always pampering us, and my mom who is the disciplinarian English. We grew up all girls, and people expected our parents to be more, definitely. Expected us to be more harsh on us, but that wasn't the case. Kids also make mistakes. Some are easily influenced negatively by friends at school. A parent can only do so much, which is why we shouldn't blame them all the time. Very true, Tuli. I remember going for NYC once. It's 4, I go back to my house, but you'll see other coppers everywhere. The training my parents gave us helped to some extent, and it was ultimately because I refused to be like others. I think we need to teach our children to know and to be able to, excuse me, and to be able to express their feelings and be able to say no when they know that it is wrong. I think a lot of kids fall under peer pressure. We need to teach our children to cope under peer pressure, to be able to say no and be comfortable in your skin with saying no. For me, it took, a good 30 years for me to understand that, because nobody taught me how to, be comfortable with being that person who doesn't want to be in the cool group, with being that person who's not going to try this because, everyone else is doing it, with being the odd one out. It took me such a long time because I had to learn most of these things by myself. So, yeah. I hear what you guys are saying. I hear what you guys are saying. Let's just teach our children. When they know certain things, I think in the back of their mind, even as they're doing it, they know my parents do not approve of this. My parents have always told me not to do this. And if we hammering it into them, the power of consistency, we keep hammering it into their minds, they will listen and they will make better decisions. For me, I feel that way. I don't know how you guys feel about what I just said. Once a child is going astray and nobody is available to observe and correct, that child will definitely not grow up well. Childhood training helps, but as adults, they also make their decisions to be good or bad. True. My parents tried as much as possible to provide for us with a good life, so we hardly look outside. Even while I was in the university, I had opportunities to do a lot of things. But because of my upbringing, you would hardly see me involved in certain things. Because it's in the back of your mind. As much as you see people doing it, it's at the back of your mind that I should not do this. This is wrong. Let me, distance myself from what these people are doing. The problem starts from teenagehood. Joanne, you can say that again. I've got a preteen, and, she's trying to find herself. At the same time, I'm trying to find ways of how she's able to find herself in a proper manner. So, yeah, teenagehood is crazy. It's crazy. Unpopular opinion, parenting style is not one size fits all. Hallelujah. Because you spank Johnny, it doesn't mean it will work on Jane. If time out works on Caleb, it doesn't mean it will work in other kids. Definitely, if you've got multiple children, more than one child, 2, 3, 4, you actually realize that these kids have different traits. These kids have different ways of how they do things. As they grow, you slowly see their personalities and, how the type of person they are. They are not going to be the same. What works for child number 1 might not work for child number 2. What works for child number 2 might not work for child number 3. So, you need to find your parenting style. We just thought that parenting, when we grew up, we thought that parenting was just one way, and that's the way you've got to do it. That's the way you're going to do it. But as I have become kids, greed, peer pressure, and discontent is what plagues kids and youths now. Peer pressure is doing a lot on kids of nowadays. They all want to look cool and fit in. I feel like Instagram, TikTok, Personally, please, please, please don't come at me for commenting this. Instagram is giving people so much pressure. When you see the good life that people are having, let's remember one thing, you guys. People show you what you want to see. People are going into debt because of Instagram. People are getting depression because of Instagram. People are, doing certain things because of Instagram. People are experimenting with a lot of things because of Instagram, Snapchat, and I feel like these sites should be available to children who are a bit older, children who are able, to think on their own. Children who are slowly getting into adulthood. Because the pressure that these sites are sending, just imagine the pressure it's giving us, adults. The pressure those sites are giving us, what is it doing to your child? She's going to be seeing these kids having all these things, having all these things. I was reading a story where one girl was caught shoplifting in one of these shops in town. And after, interrogating her, asking her why she was doing this, she said because one of her favorite celebrities on Instagram, dresses like this. She can't afford it. Her parents can't afford to give her the money to buy that sort of stuff. So she has resorted to shoplifting in order to make her Instagram lit. Yeah. Imagine that. The comment section is hot. Let me read your guys' comments. I remember once as a couple, a friend invited me to Asaba for a party. The thanks for coming was so eye-catching. Samsung Tab and 200K. Wow. In 2012. But guys, I thought of what my parents would think and declined to go. You imagine you then decided to go there. Your parents don't know that you've decided to go there. You have an accident and, get hurt. Worst case scenario, you die on the spot. How would your parents feel? And they've been raising you to be good. Hey, Sarah, how are you? How are you, Sarah? Welcome in. We're talking about parenting. This topic today is about parenting. So dive in. Give us your parenting, tips. How can we manage to do this thing called parenting? Okay, so my next question, before I read the other comments, is what are we as parents doing wrong? What are we as parents doing wrong in this parenting game? What are we doing wrong? This just reminds me of my NYC days. They invited me to a lag. The girl who decided to go, they robbed her and collected her money. We just need to learn contentment. But I think now that we are older, that's when we can learn to be content. When you are young, you want to be in the in group. One guy once told me to come visit him in his school. When I declined, he said a lot of my schoolmates are in his campus. Or more, I fast blocked the guy because what rubbish. Sorry, I'm attacking the parents today. If you're going through a tough time financially, don't take it out on your kids. Be mad at the government and get a second job or something. Unpopular opinion. Taylor, yeah, in Africa, I tell you, Africa is just an extreme sport on its own. Living in Africa is an extreme sport on its own. Financially, things are not working, but we are trying, you know. But for a lot of people, things are not working out for them. I'm not saying I've got all my shit together. I don't have all my shit together. And yeah, things are difficult for me sometimes, but I feel like we are slightly in a better position than others. So, and jobs are just not easy to come by. Getting a second job here, you might not even have a first job, girl. So it's, yeah. First world living and, third world living is so different. So different. Social media, fake it till you make it. It is their logo. Contentment is a virtue, honestly. Yes. That's what I was saying, that we need to teach our children certain things. Learn to be content. Growing up, my mother always used to say to us, you know what? There's a period when Zim was hard, you guys. 2008, 2009, till around 2013, Zimbabwe was tough. Living in this country was so tough. We actually didn't have any foodstuffs in the shops. We actually didn't have, you couldn't go into a shop and buy stuff because shops were empty. That's how bad it was. I remember the job I was working, I used to earn $50 and I would catch a bus, go to Botswana. This is a neighboring country. Go to Botswana, buy groceries. And I always say to myself, I don't want to go back to that. Going to another country to buy salt because you cannot afford to buy, or there's no salt in your country. You can have the money, but you can't, there's nowhere where there's food. So we'd go to a neighboring country, buy foodstuffs, bring them here. And my mother always used to say to us during that period, my kids, then she was already a widow and we were orphans because my dad had passed. So she always used to say, you should be content with what you have. If we are going to eat sada and cabbage today, cabbage that is just boiled without cooking oil, without anything, is the stomach going to report tomorrow telling everybody that I ate salsa with cabbage? So be content with what you have, my children. Be content with the little amount of money you are having. Don't go out there and steal. And that is so drained in my mind. It's so stuck in my mind that, even when I see other creators, other people doing certain things, I'm like, you know what? I should be grateful for what I have. I should be content with what I have. So, yeah, that is just what I wanted to tell you about being content. Not teaching your children that hard work pays. Not making them, oh, okay. This is the some of the answers that Carol is saying about what we are doing wrong as parents. So we're not teaching your children that hard work pays, not making them realize that other kids lack all they have. They need to see and know how the world works. Yes. Why I agree on that is we've learned this parenting style of shadowing our kids, even if we do not have. When they request something, we go out of our way to give them this thing or to make sure that they get it. Whether I'm going to go and get it on credit, there are parents who are doing that. I think children should reach a point where if there's nothing, there's nothing. If we have, we have. Sit them down, explain the situation to them that, you know what, at this point in time, I do not have, but if I do get, I will give you this. We need to reach that point as parents. And it's not wrong to tell your children that you do not have. They need to work hard. How I want to put systems in place where I actually, do chore charts, some that are paid, some that are not, an incentive, giving them and teach my child earlier on how to deal with money, because I think these issues stem from our children not being able to know how to handle money, to know what to do with it when you have it. So, yep. I teach my children that not everything is about competition and they should be content. Get a first job first when we can talk about the stress before we can talk about getting a second job. Africa living. You need to have a first job first. Oh my gosh, what a topic. I'm packing for Zim. We should link up, Sha. Yay, Sarah. Social media and my teen daughter. We should link up. I'm so excited you're coming into town. We should definitely link up. Hi, Virtue. How are you? See, this is my industrial side. I learned it from my parents. Right from my young age, I started business. In school, I'll ship bags from Kenya to Ghana to Nigeria, and it continued when I returned. Taylor, please don't retract your messages. We want to hear your opinion, girl. We want to hear it. Trust me, Tilly, I know what living in Zim is like. I know parents that took out their anger on small, innocent children. It's similar to shaking a baby when they cry. I hate to see kids being mistreated. Definitely, nobody wants to see kids being mistreated. And I feel like there's a sense of pressure that comes when, you don't have money. Your frustrations are even more, and it is so wrong to take out your frustrations on the children. It's not the children's fault. It's not it's not the children's fault that you're going through what you're going through. We need to find ways of making things work. We need to find ways of making things work instead of taking it out on kids. So some of these kids come from abusive homes, where they have been abused, and it's sad. It's a sad situation, and I feel like the community is not doing enough to protect those children who are in those homes. So yeah, I understand you. I understand you guys. As small as my daughter, she doesn't get everything she cries for. Definitely, I'm not that parent who gives the child everything they need. If I tell you these days we move with budgets, if your money is $5, budget your money. Yes, like that. I am not going to give you everything you cry for. And Miss T is at an age where she cries for basically everything now. So we are slowly teaching her that no. Okay. So with the last few minutes that I have, because I just wanted to take 60 minutes of your time, you guys, but let me ask you a question with the last few minutes that I have is, how do we as parents move with the times without spoiling our kids? We've talked about all this wahala, all this drama that we have with our kids, parents being blamed, kids being blamed, kids not being responsible. Yes, but after all that is said and done, how do we move with the times and become better parents? Because this is about us as parents. How do we become better parents without spoiling your kids? Where do you draw the line that this is spoiling, this has become too much, and this is the correct way of doing it, or this is what I think is proper? Let me know in the comments while I go through your other comments. Are you sure those people are mentally stable? Most of these people will be mentally stable, Joanne. Don't burn your meat, Carol girl. Watch your pot now. It's an exciting topic. So you can't leave the comment section. There's a trend on social media that talks about breaking unserious generational curses. What do you think about it? For example, if my kid asks for McDonald's, he's getting McDonald's. The food at home will eat it later. I saw it online. Please don't attack me. I feel there's a point where you should be able to draw the line. I take my kids out once in a while. I do that. I want my kids to be exposed to that kind of life. But we're not going to buy chicken in every day. I'm going to buy groceries at the end of the month. There are days that we are going to, be eating our food at home. Generational, I think people, personally, this is me. People take certain things to the extremes. There are things that just don't work. There are things that just don't work every day. A child can make requests. Yes, does this request make sense? Is this request necessary at this time? We as adults also feel like, one time I want to have chicken in. You go, you buy chicken in, you eat it. Does it make sense to be eating chicken in every day? To be spending money on takeout every day when you can save that money for future use, for future important things like taking your child to college and certain things? I know how people are like, let's live for the now because you don't know tomorrow. But at the same time, let's save in the now for tomorrow. What are we doing for our children that will make their lives better tomorrow? Yeah, think about that. Do what you need to do, but don't take it to the extremes. And is it really necessary? Is it necessary? Is it feasible? Also, does it make sense? Because I'm one of those people who, think of tomorrow. What about tomorrow? If you spend all your money today, what are you going to do tomorrow? If I'm going to save money, by buying groceries, for me, that's just what I think. I don't know what you all in the comment section think as well, but the generational curse is not about. No, I understand, Taylor. I understand. I've seen bits and pieces of that trend. I haven't followed it that much, but I have seen, a few things of people saying that. But for me personally, these generational curses are not for me to continue on the poor streak. I want my children to be better than me, better than how I turned out, better than, I think as a parent, we all want that for our children that if I am on this level, I want my child to be on that level. Their children should be on that higher level, and the level keeps growing like that, like that. Sorry, Carol. We almost done. You won't burn your pot anymore. We almost done. So yeah. No one has answered my question where I said, how do we move with the times without spoiling our kids? How do we move with the time? How do we raise the kids that we are raising in this era without being called the parent that spoils their kids? You want your children to be exposed to technology. You want your children to be able to use a smartphone. You want your kids to be able to use tablets. You get what I mean? But where do we draw the line to spoiling? Where do we draw the line to not letting them just do what they want with these things? Where do we draw the line in giving them even money? I know there are some people who, give their children pocket money, $20, $50, pocket money, and it's all good. Where do we draw the line that this has become spoiling and, this is proper, this is in the normal range? Balance is the key word. We eat out once a month now. We did it every Sunday, but man, economy is all for saving extra cash. Be more intentional. Know that every stage of their childhood requires you to be different. I like that. I absolutely love that. And it just got me thinking, the reason why I did this live and this particular topic is because there are times that parenting happens, you guys. Parenting happens, adulting happens, and our generation, we do not have coping mechanisms of living in this generation. Yeah, of living in these times. We don't have the coping mechanisms of that because, yeah. There's a stage in their life where you're now required to be a friend. Yes. There's a point in my life when I needed my mother so much as a friend, not as my mom, but as a friend. So there should be room to be able to, leave that room. Don't let your children be afraid of you. Don't let your children, be too free for me. Be too free. Be involved. We need to be those parents that are involved in our children's lives, know what's going on. Teach them the right things and pray they will make the right decisions with their lives and what they do, because at the end of the day, it's their lives. They are their choices, and all that, and all that. Once a month is reasonable. Yes, I think going out with your kids once a month is very reasonable, because you want your children to have that exposure as well of going out. You don't want your children to be those kids who one day, some sugar daddy will come to them and say, I'll buy you a pizza so that you can be with me. And the kid gets excited because they've never had pizza, so they're gonna go with a sugar daddy because of that. You don't want kids. You don't. So give your children the experiences, do vacations, take them out so that they can learn also these things, but let it not go out of hand. Personal opinion, that is my personal opinion. Taylor says, what's the topic next week? I want to be prepared. Okay. I don't know what the topic is next week. The way I've been doing my lives is, as the spirit moves me, is how I will be doing my lives. But I will try to make it a point that I will write a community post on Monday instead of Tuesday during the day. I'll write a community post on Monday and then with the topic and then put in a reminder on Tuesday so that you guys, can be prepared for the topics, because I want to talk more about this parenting thing because, yeah, I need to learn. I need to learn a lot of things. What's with the sugar daddy's thunder? Okay, with the sugar daddy story. Thank you, Taylor. Taylor says, I want to come with bullets loaded. I enjoy these topics. So that's what I will do for you. That's what I will do for you. I'll write the topic in on Monday so that you guys are prepared and ready, to have these discussions, help each other. For those who are not yet parents, one day you'll look back at this and say, but I talked about these things with a group of internet people that I didn't know. And, some of these things will help you in your parenting journey. Sarah says, TikTok, my word, I could scream. My daughter is at boarding school, and if I had my way, she would have got a phone at 16, but here we are. I just instill rules on where not to go and pray. True. Just teach them about, how to be able to use these gadgets, because these gadgets, if you abuse them, they will definitely abuse you. So you guys, thank you so much for spending this 1 hour with me. I really enjoyed, having you guys chat, talk to me, understand, this parenting game, understand how some of y'all grew up and how it has helped shape you and be who you are today. I always hope when my kids look back at these videos, they will be able to know that their mother tried everything they can in order for them to go in the right direction. Definitely, Taylor, I'm doing a video for you. I've got you. I got you, girl. I got you. I will do a video specifically for you on the cabbage recipe. Definitely. It is coming very soon. A lot has been going on. Please definitely do engage with my content, with my videos, with my shorts as well. Please engage with them. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for joining my live, and I will see you next week, Tuesday, same time, 7 p.m. CAT time. And bye. I love you guys.